Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video tutorial. This is Marc Brunet, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm going to try my hand at doing a line art today. And that is going to be for the tutorial on how to design characters for video games. So, the way this is going to work is we're going to build the background of our character first, and then we're going to draw it. I'm going to be using this, so this list here, three columns with a bunch of different things in here. Well, first of all, this is highly inspired by a similar list that Arnold Sang, which is a colleague of mine at Blizzard, created for his GDC talk recently. And well, I'll also put the description below with links to his portfolio, because you guys should check it out. He's pretty badass. But anyways, I thought this was a really good representation of what the kind of stuff that goes in the back of your mind whenever you're approaching a new concept. And at least that's what I think about before I draw anything. I try to have an idea of what my character is. And those kind of steps really help to solidify your idea, and those are also kind of the same you would have if you were giving a particular task at work, for example. So, if you're working on a particular game, like a FPS game, fantasy FPS game, and then you're tasked to do like a support class character, then that would be already done for you. So that selection would be all done for you from your art director or from your lead or whatever. So you would already have this information. But in this case, it's always good to try to replicate this environment if you're not working or if you're looking to eventually find a job in the game industry, because it's the kind of stuff that that will happen. So those lists, those columns, for example, those are the stuff that I'm comfortable doing. So those are not, I could add a bunch more here. There's many more genres of games, but those are the ones that I've worked on, and those are the ones that I feel kind of comfortable doing. And what those mean basically is the kind of stuff you're gonna have to think about whenever you're doing a character for those specific genres. So, for example, for FPS, most of the time you tend to shoot at other characters, from the front. So you're gonna see the characters coming to you, and then you shoot them. So the important part is going to be the silhouette and then the front view of a character. For example, for mobile games like Heroes of the Storm or Dota 2, League of Legends, those kind of games, well, you're gonna see the characters from a bit of a distance, so it's going to be like top-down view, and you'll probably want to exaggerate some of the proportions so that they read well from a distance. And so for action RPG, that would be kind of the opposite of FPS games, where you see your character most of the time from the back. So think of Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto. So the important part would be the silhouette and then the back view of your character. And RTS would kind of like mobile games, but even smaller. And most of the time you tend to not really have one hero unit and have multiple ones that you control at the same time, so they're not going to stand out as much. And since they're much smaller, they're going to have to probably be exaggerated even more than mobile games. So think of like StarCraft games, for example. The theme, this is, it speaks for itself. Those are the kind of stuff that I'm used to doing. So those would be like easy, and you could probably like pick 1 or 2 or 3 even from this list. And then the class will be like the whatever your character is. So if you're working on a DPS character, like someone that is meant to attack, you're probably gonna have weapons of some sort, that kind of stuff. A healer, well, you get what I mean. We've all played games here, so. But yeah, so this is the kind of steps that you're gonna be thinking about. And in this case, since I don't have anybody to tell me what to do, I'm just gonna pick some at random. Let's go with a mobile game, and we're gonna be doing fantasy instead of sci-fi, and Vikings. And what else? Let's do a tank. So a tank class Viking for mobile games. So the silhouette's gonna be exaggerated, and tank, I'm probably thinking of something beefy character, pretty wide. Yeah, let's I'm gonna think about it for a second, and then let's get started. After a little bit of research, I've gathered a couple images here from Google. Some of them are just what the Vikings look like, basically what their equipment look like, just so that my stuff is as accurate as possible, as believable as possible. I'm not gonna copy any of this, but it's just it's good reference. And I was also googling, to give me a little bit more information, beyond the three columns that we picked from. I was googling like different Norse gods and different iconic Norse animals and that kind of stuff, to give me a hook for this character. Because that's going to be sort of the design elements that are going to be. So I have my theme, I have everything. Yeah, I have everything except sort of what my design elements are going to be. So my shape language, that kind of stuff, and that's also good. Good stuff to try to figure out as early as possible. So that's why I googled this stuff. And well, what more fitting for a tank to have a hook that is a bear. So yeah, this guy is going to be highly inspired by the bear, by bear shapes, and and anything bear related. So what I'm starting with here is the silhouette for this guy. I'm drawing him naked. Obviously, I'm going to dress him up a little bit later. I'm just doing this so that my anatomy and obviously the anatomy is wrong here, but at least it's believable, and that's what I want. So if I were to draw the armor first and then try to figure out the anatomy underneath, it always there's always problems that happens when I try to do that. So I don't even try. So I'm at the step now where I have a pretty good idea of what my character is going to be. So like I said, he's a tank, and when I say tank, think of like a World of Warcraft tank, where you're this massive guy full of armor plates. You're the one that's going to be right in the monster's face whenever you're fighting like a character in the game. You're gonna be right in the monster's face, and you're gonna be the one that takes all the damage basically, and you're gonna have like healers behind you trying to keep you alive, while you're trying to kill that big ass monster. So this guy's probably gonna be heavily armored, I would expect, or at least give the impression that he can take a bunch of hits before he goes down. So if I were to do like any of the other classes, for example, like a stealth class, or not stealth class, but like a healer type or that kind of stuff, you can probably imagine that the healer type wouldn't have as much armor. And you kind of want to be the one that can help others. So to be quick to react, you have to be mobile, and therefore you can't be wearing too much stuff. And you're probably gonna have like different tools, because your job is different. So in this guy's case, all he needs are weapons and sort of armor to protect himself, so shields and weapons, and that's as far as it goes. So yeah, I'm just adding a bunch of stuff on top of him. I'm constantly trying to think of where I can add like bear elements to this character, so like claws or like fur, that kind of stuff. So far, not super successful, but this is gonna come. I'm gonna add a little bit more, as I'm going. I kind of forget about it for a moment. So this is when I add those big shoulder plates that are kind of like, I don't know, they kind of look like bear claws. And yeah, after that, a couple more things, and the theme should be a little bit more obvious. But there's one design element that I'm not too proud of, with this particular drawing. Those are the horns. There's just no horns on bears, and this is the kind of stuff that if I spent a little bit more time, I probably would have gotten rid of it, just because it doesn't fit, and it's kind of I don't know, like the more I look at it, the more it's annoying. But it kind of works with the silhouette, and whatever. Like at this point, I'm just gonna leave it. But yeah, I mean, the character is pretty much done. So in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to color this guy. So it's going to be very production focused. So as opposed to the previous videos I've done, where it's a little bit more freeform, a little bit more organic, this is going to be especially for production work. So we're going to have a little bit more layers, and it's going to be a little bit more easy to go back and make some changes. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye bye.